Well, okay, you're here. You've been here about a week at ReWildU,
Mm-hmm.
more or less,
Yeah.
and we're hoping to do a series of interview videos with you. Those of you that were watching and following Matt, it's going to be a little bit different in that there's Richard and Tim here, and I'm probably not going to be filming a lot of their activities. They both have a really strong training focus and want to be not having cameras around, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get some little
Mm-hmm.
instances. But Richard has agreed to just talk with us about what his experience is over the time here. And I suppose the first question would be, what brought you here?
I guess the big one is just being able to be in nature for that amount of time. 4 months of actually living in nature or just any amount of time in nature has always appealed to me. Like the classic, I want to go out in the woods for a while, but to actually go do that and instead of just saying that like a lot of people my age and older do, because I've noticed that a lot with people is like, oh, we all want to go out and try it, but to actually go out and do it is, it just takes a little push or a pretty big push.
Yeah.
So that's the big one, is just to be able to live out here, and then to have somebody like you, Kenton, who's really receptive to that and can bring that other level of understanding, not just like the gung ho survivally, I get the skills down, absolutely get the skills down, but also to get more the appreciation and the sense of self that comes with that. So I guess that's my reason for being here.
And I, so in the past, I've worked with some people that I felt were kind of running away from the situation they're in. But you, let me share a little bit of your background. You come from a pretty positive background.
Like running away from my home.
Oh yeah, the sense of running away from the life situation they were in. So when I first started doing ReWildU, I was working more with people that had a lot more discontent in their life, and that seems to have shifted over time. And you sort of exemplify that, and that it doesn't feel like you're running away from something, but coming to something. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't running away at all. Like my family life and my hometown and everything were like fantastic. Yeah, I
Good.
loved being there. Like it was very cool. The only thing was, I felt like there was more. There was more that could be found, especially like within myself, by not being in society for a while. Not having to live up to expectations or anything like that, and just figuring out this whole other side of life, which is a little bit deeper, a little bit more, well, a lot more natural, of living out in the woods. And then hopefully to bring some of those skills back to where I'm from. Or if I don't go home right away, to wherever I go, back into society. But no, I don't feel like I was running away at all. More just getting some very good skills to have.
Wow. A week. So you've gone from transition from, I'm assuming you were sleeping in a house in a climate controlled environment and such, although you were actually sleeping outside
As much as I could.
prior to this.
Yeah.
Kind of, okay.
Like under a porch, but
But still, yeah. So what's been difficult or exciting, notable about the actual shift of getting out into the woods? What are the initial sensations or effects?
I'd say the first is definitely the air. Like we talked about that a little bit last time, like the appreciation for the air, but the air up here is wonderful. Like, come to Wisconsin sometime, because whatever it is, the air here is delicious. And then also, cooking. Cooking was a big thing for me. Learning how to cook, just in general, because I'm more of like a cereal and eggs kind of guy. Some of that easier stuff. But
Yeah.
learning how to cook, and then learning how to cook over a fire at the same time. It was fun. It's very fun. Just tricky to do. And then it's rained a couple times up here, and it's like way colder here than where I'm from. Like, even though it's what, like 5 hours difference, but pretty much straight north difference.
Big difference in
Yeah,
to your
and
regular
whatever
daily
that.
temperature.
Yeah, so getting used to not the cold, because it's just the cold for summer, So being able to get used to doing that all the time instead of like going out into well, just going outside for a little bit and getting cold and then okay, I'm done. I can go back in now. Now it's more. I'm just gonna stay in this area. But I've noticed that it's gotten a lot better
Really?
since it. Oh, and mosquitoes too. Both of those have gotten a lot better since I came here. Cause like that first night, I thought the mosquitoes were awful, and then I went to a place where we actually had some bad mosquitoes. And it made these seem like nothing at all. So both that, the bugs and the cold, were kind of big shifts from where I was from, but they're not too bad at all, especially after a week of, just having to deal with them. I've learned to accept them quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That power to adapt. And both you and Tim seem to be doing that in really cool ways that I haven't really encountered before. And so part of what might be fun is to see what is it that you're bringing out here to the woods or not bringing out to the woods that is so different than what I've encountered in people before. Have you encountered fears, or how are you feeling about being away from family? Are there some negatives that you've had to deal with? And if so, how have you, besides the cold and the mosquitoes, how have you dealt with them?
Yeah, I'd say like fear-wise, I haven't felt any fears. There's been nothing scary that's happened. But yeah, definitely not being around my family. Like, it's only been a week, but I know that's going to go on for many weeks now. I'm the oldest, so like having family around like all the time. I've always had younger siblings and a lot of noise. So not having that noise and like all that energy. Even there's like some of that with your family and
yeah,
the
it's still pretty quiet.
It's a lot more solitude. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's really a fearful thing. Just getting used to the solitude, but that's kind of why I'm here, is to get used to some of that solitude.
Are there other things from this first week of experience that you'd want to share with people? Any other thoughts or revelations or perceptions? Looks like a storm's going to hit us. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. Well, just the whole hacking thing, like what I was going to bring out here, because I kept going back and forth between, should I bring a lot of books or more clothes than I have, or less clothes, or should I bring a sleeping bag or not, all that sort of stuff. And I realized that like the most important thing to have is like the inner abundance, and then like coming out here, I thought the inner abundance would be the most important thing. And it's definitely a huge thing to have happiness and resilience inside already, but also to be in a place where there's a lot of abundance on the outside. Being able to be in a very pristine foresty setting it's been magical. It's been really, really good to have that just around all the time. It's not the same sort of community feel as I'm used to,
right?
But it's definitely still alive. So having that, it's only a little bit now. I'm just starting to get the appreciation for it, but it's growing.
Well, let us know what you think, if you'd like to see these continue on. And I don't know if we do them every week or 2 weeks or what interval, but if people would like to hear more of your journey and as it goes along. We haven't done any big challenges yet. In some ways you've been finding your rhythm here, and we've been covering some basic things, but it might be fun to hear when you hit some of the first big challenges that come before you, how those process, because you're coming in with this awesome attitude, and I think part of why you're here is to see, can that attitude stay and hold up
Mm-hmm.
when the going gets tough. And yeah, right on. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
Awesome.